Hello, welcome to Gutter Stars session 34. This is a Spelljammer actual stream for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, and we're missing Tom because he fell off a cliff. That's true. That actually happened today. Apparently, was it today? I think he said he fell off a cliff today. Slipped off it. Yeah, was shoved. I pushed him. And
we got him.
And Beach is at last mission accomplished.
Take him away.
Yeah. And Beach is online, but I think is probably distracted because he hasn't come on voice. So maybe we'll kill his character to teach him a lesson. That's what we do. As we listen to misunderstood piece of advice from the DMG about how to deal with problem players.
Yes, I think one of them said that you should strike players with actual real lightning when they do something annoying.
Yeah,
like you should just hook them up to like electric wires during the game and have a big behind in front of the end screen.
My copy says use the lyrics "What should we do with a drunken sailor" as punishments. Shave his belly with a rusty razor.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more dubious.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like torture. What Jamie was saying just sounds like good DMing to me.
Good, clean fun.
We have the crew of the Star Sail, which is a small a skiff, really piloted. It's not actually a Spelljammer technically in terms of you do not jam via spell, but it's a kind of genetically linked or something magically linked to a particular family, and you have a pilot who can run it. But we have Dr. Jones, the Xixchil Barber surgeon, played by Andrew. We have Major Tom Thumb, retired from the Elven Navy, played by Simon. We have Jamie, who has, I guess, two characters here technically because he hasn't had. One ate a bad kebab, and that meant that he was allowed to have his second character, like in his stable, be created. But now they're just sitting together, feeling awkward because they feel like they inhabit the same space. Morthylla and Xeethra. Morthylla is a cleric, and Xeethra is a elf fighter magic user. And Alex has a 1 hit point monk. I think is your current next dead character.
A 1 hit point, 10 AC monk. Kawakami.
I hear they get powerful at the higher levels. I bet you look to it.
I mean,
you'll enjoy it when you do.
Believe it. I mean, as it is right now, if I get lucky, I'm still pretty good at punching.
Yeah, I would say the one thing I'd say is I think a 1 hit point monk is at risk because this is a second edition cleric using one of the 3 monk sub versions or kits. Yeah. Hence why it's not a 2d4 hit point roll. Yeah. But nonetheless, plenty of 1 hit point characters who have leveled. In fact, Andrew, you played one of the most recent 1 hit point characters who leveled. I think, in my experience, didn't Willem start with 1 hit point?
Yes, I have a 1 hit point cleric in one of our offline games. Yes,
he's now 3rd level and has like 10 hit points. He did die.
Yeah. Did die. Like
he did.
The trick is to make sure your monk doesn't punch above his weight.
Yeah, bum.
I didn't actually determine like body size or anything like height and stuff for Kawakami, so I don't actually know what is above his weight. Give me a moment.
Yeah, I think since it's weight, actually, it's not literally above in terms of height, but rather on the weighing scale. When you're fighting something, you'll have to ask him to weigh himself before you punch him.
Yeah, and he can only and the boulette can only wear its pants whilst doing so, as well. To make
and the bullet also has to go and do a number 2 in the laboratory beforehand to make sure it's accurate.
And there's drug testing because of the rise in doping in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, and if it's pregnant, you'd have to take the baby out, weigh the baby, put the baby back in, and then
because you need to make sure it's like the right measurement. Yeah, I absolutely 100%. I was going to say before we went off on that.
Yeah,
tangent. Yes. Characters with 1 hit point can definitely survive. I think a monk is going to have a harder time because of how much he wants probably to be near people, enemies.
Yeah,
but
I have normal like monk casting. I've not got the best spheres, but.
But yes, you can act as you're a secondary cleric, aren't you? That's the thing. You're a cleric who can also punch, and if you can get 1 good treasure haul, then you're 2nd level.
Yeah.
And if to be fair,
my backup character is incredible.
Yeah.
And one thing about old school D&D really is that with carry weight and these various dungeon mechanics like listening at doors and forcing doors and searching rooms, often it's just useful just to be an extra pair of hands,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, people watching, many of them will know, but a house rule we operate on, it's actually a house rule not in the house rules document, because it's just a convention, is if you're walking wounded, which is a state in the game if you're having to recover from an injury, i.e. you've been knocked out and you're going to have to sleep it off, we allow that such people not just to carry their own stuff, which I guess is kind of implied, but also typically those people often end up carrying torches, don't they? Because that's the maximum they can do is carry a torch. But it does mean that they still, as long as you heal the guy who's been knocked out, they can still contribute like one small thing to the party. So yes, even in that case, a PC is useful, or anyone is useful. A warm body is useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Great. Okay, so you have arrived at the Bar Sinister in the inmost ring, or nearly inmost ring of Brawl space. I think you'd picked up from here. You'd been at Shipwrecker, where you had many things you did do, and also more leads, but you decided to go off and do some other stuff after defeating a tribe of goblins. You've arrived at the. You thought you would look into. I guess what was it? Just that you're looking into kind of general rumors about what was going on in space. Maybe if there's any jobs out, any money earning jobs.
Yeah. I think I'd suggested that this local hive of scum and villainy sounded like a good place to pick up some rumors for people maybe wanting mercenary work or just more general vague rumors.
Yeah.
And if we didn't find
you enter and a guy with like a really heavy brow comes up to you and says, "He doesn't like you. I don't like you either."
Yeah, and you see me sitting in the corner with a green guy that I may or may not shoot first.
Yeah. Come on. No, it's the other way around.
Yeah,
you see him in the corner with Harrison Ford as a young man.
Yeah, what happens is actually in the next session, we're trying to recount this stuff, and we're like, oh, when you rolled for initiative, did you win or did he win? I can't remember. We'll just retcon it.
No, there is no retcon. There is no question about it. Hand shot first. Like,
yes,
of course, hand shot first. Why wouldn't he shoot first? He's not a good guy.
I would shoot first.
Yeah.
It's also,
He's not a moron.
Yeah.
It's also this guy is attempting to arguably illegally detain him. Guido is an aggressor.
No, I think the idea is they changed it in different versions of the film. Obviously, originally hand shoots first.
Yes. The only version that exists.
Yeah. I think it's partly to make it seem more family friendly, to not have him look as like dangerous or no.
He was a drug smuggler.
This is Star Wars. Every drug smuggler, if he becomes the good guy, has to be like if his past retcon, there's like, oh, he's smuggling.
Confuses distance of time. It's never going to be a good guy.
Maybe he was smuggling like medication to people that needed it.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
so the Bar Sinister. In the wretched hive of scum and villainy, the Bar Sinister, it is a small asteroid. Like there's a few asteroids, as I think I mentioned, but just kind of it's like a micro belt. But this one, because normally, obviously, you think they agglomerate their belts of asteroids, here is a fairly small micro belt of just a few. One of which is not even particularly big. It's maybe 300 feet in diameter. But it has a building on it, a 2-story building, rough dress blocks made of asteroid stone, no windows, 2 doors, and you can see that there are, and this is what you'll be tying up to, there are piers, I guess, extending out along the gravity plane, beyond the gravity plane, into space, to which ships are tied up. There are presently 4 ships tied up here, and yes, it is a bar. The reputation is that it is a neutral ground, no cops, no gang violence kind of situation. And because there's no single government over Brawl space, and even less so since the onslaught of the Scro taking Spiral from the elves, this kind of means that this is respected. No one has a police force they'd be sending around to kind of arrest people in that sense, apart from the Imperial Elven Navy, and they have their hands full. That's where we are. What do you want to do?
I would like to go and shoot first. I find a family-friendly smuggler
and shoot him in the head.
Well, I mean, we came looking for work, so
we should.
Need to find the seediest part.
Not even the seedy, but just find people we could talk to. Bar notice boards.
Yeah, I was going to say it's. I mean, that's the thing is, it is a place where it's large enough that you can refresh. As long as there's not loads of people living on it, and there's a very small permanent population, you can refresh your ship's oxygen. Things like that.
What kind of people live here? Like, I isn't like a racist and things like that. Remind me.
It's a small asteroid. It's the population is the people who run the bar and people who are visiting it. It's exactly. It's trucked up. There are some plants on the roof of the bar, which, as in, there's like a little garden, which I guess will help with the oxygen situation. But really, you could, if you settled 50 people on here, I'd need to work out the exact volumes, but it's kind of thing where you'd end up having the echo sour. There's, it's not got a large permanent population. Any other time you've only got. Remember, there's 4 small ships with probably just a few crew each.
Do the ships have any marking insignia on them? No herald or anything like that?
No. You've got there's a tradesman. There's a hammer ship, and a couple of small shuttle types. They could all be traders. They could be more illegal than that. None of them have company insignia or anything like that on them.
Are these quite like dodgy merchants, like quite thief-like traders, like maybe even rogue traders, one might say?
Yeah, or smugglers. Yeah, I think the reputation of the Bar Sinister is that you're definitely going to find people on the other side of the law here in terms of in other jurisdictions, but. There'll also be legitimate traders. There'll also be other people on the fringe, as in bounty hunters, whatever, privateers. But there's a degree, but you're not on business whilst you're here in that sense. You're not kind of like, I'm going to come and arrest you. That is a good way to get a bar full of people shooting you. It's the Sunday truce, but not actually. You go in. Basically you go. I think pretty much you go straight into the bar room in here. What is that? Is that the point of entry? Ground floor? No. You come into. You come into the bar room, and there's a couple of private rooms behind curtains. Private dining rooms or whatever. It's set up with tables which you can dine at, as well as chairs at the bar. And the room itself is quite clear. Quite clean. It's not very much like Tatooine. It's quite pleasant and nice. Behind the bar there is a human who is tall. Oh, sorry, not human. Half elf. He's tall, quite muscular. There is a half orc sitting nearby, and then there are 12 other mixture of humans, half orcs, half elves, and a single dwarf sitting around.
Sorry, just to clarify, so are orcs a thing in this universe as well as Skro?
Well, so by half orc I mean half Skro.
Okay.
I say orcs. So the Skro's opinion is any orcs, and this be where this is not something that there aren't any domestic orc populations In terms of there are spheres where there are groundling orcs, and the Scro see groundling orcs as lost cousins who need liberating.
Right.
And given the technology to go to the stars.
Yeah. I mean, I knew a man once who had half a Scro actually, but someone punched him in an unfortunate area. That was why.
I think there's a song about that, isn't there?
Limerick or something. I don't know actually what song this is, but we'll get copy struck if you sing it too well. So remain silent, please.
Yeah, Alex, stop talking.
Your singing is too good, Alex.
Half orc means either half orc from a groundling context, but probably it's a guy with pinkish greyish skin and tusks and stuff. You're going to think it's half Scro would be the local assumption, but could be groundling orc background.
Does that mean that if you're a Scro, then calling you an orc is like a really bad insult, like you're calling someone like a savage or something, or do they not mind it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Your world building isn't complete until you have like racial slurs for each group.
I've actually got a 28,000 word document of D&D racial slurs.
That might be like 1 or 2 words longer than the Elder Scrolls master document they have at Bethesda.
Yeah, indeed. And the differences I'll actually develop another game in the series.
But Owen, how much money have you made off of your stream?
Off of re-releases of my games?
Yeah.
Well, I have a Patreon, and the answer is very little.
Whereas
I appreciate the money, but it's every little helps. It is always helpful for me, but compared to Bethesda, my Patreon is not very big.
Well, they just re-released the HHD version of Skyrim for the for your Fitbit or something.
Yeah.
Skyrim for your Fitbit with fishing now.
I know Bethesda have technically released a game since Starfield, but I somehow feel like the whole Elder Scrolls thing, and ESO technically, and ESO is probably in some ways very admirable as creating stuff, but you're like, maybe it might be in its own way almost worse than there not being a Half-Life 2 Episode 3 or Half-Life 3, because at least Valve more or less admitted that they didn't care anymore ages ago.
Yeah, like they don't have to.
They did.
Yeah. It was called that because it was specifically for you, Alex. That's why. But I'm not Alex, so I can't play it.
They did release one thing, yeah. But I mean, in terms of the whole, will they ever make the promised sequels? The answer is no, and it doesn't really matter. They don't care. Steam makes them the money they want.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. So. Yes. And
although I've just got it actually now, just because it bothers me. ESO was made by a different studio.
Oh yeah. So yes, and published by Bethesda. No, it's relevant. It's relevant. Adds to the point. Doesn't detract from it.
I would like to sit down at a table, having ordered a drink, or a drink of something non-alcoholic, because I'm an elf.
Yeah. Well, what are the exotic space drinks like people drink out here?
There's space beer and there's space wine.
Spear.
And there's space tap water.
Honestly, considering the world building you get in Spelljammer, I wouldn't be surprised if they actually just called something space wine.
Yeah.
And there's space grape juice saying "for hire" on my table.
Spape Goose, it's called.
And I'm going to sit down behind the sign and clean my sword.
Yep.
I'm going to announce that I'm an arms dealer and then just sit down at a table.
You don't just come in and say that.
And he has Wilsps. He has
arms.
And he has Wilsp arms. Yeah.
The worst of all.
Yeah.
People know what Xilchil mean when they say that.
Whoosh! That was the joke flying over my head.
Yeah. Cool. Anyone else other than setting up as people obviously in the trade? Anything else?
I'll go to the bartender and I'll buy a drink first, just to not be annoying, and I'll just ask him, how are things recently? Any jobs around locally for, wandering tradesmen or mercenaries?
Incompetent mercenaries.
I mean,
or investigators, for example, too.
I think you do have. I mean, you defeated an entire tribe of goblins, and via putting together a multinational strike force. It's called Operation Shipwrecker Freedom. And yeah, so you've got some claims to your
We have
your
committed war crimes. We can say that, can't we?
Yeah.
Oh no, we can't say that.
No.
I mean, we can, but we shouldn't.
Yeah, we can wink. We can wink about the subject. Yeah.
We should probably stop saying that.
Yeah. Everyone's looking at us in the bar.
Yeah, the term actually is advanced interrogation techniques. I think they use. So.
Rendition. It can be used to mean either singing or torture.
Or both if it's you singing. Sorry.
Indeed. If I'm singing. Yeah. So
I
yes.
just had to take the opportunity. There is nothing personal.
No. Yeah. So the half elf behind the bar will kind of size you up and spend a couple of gold on your ale. He will say that due to the need for discretion and everyone valuing their privacy, generally speaking, that there's he kind of smiles half a smile and says, there's no job board here. That you can't find a list of bounties that you pick up. But he said, but we do have an information broker who can, he gestures to one of the private dining rooms. He says, well, we have an information, the information broker will provide you with the information that might be valuable to you, particularly for a price, might be kind of appropriate for people flying a skiff around.
A tourist yacht around, yeah.
I mean, sure, if it's something genuinely useful. We go ask him.
He'll say. Well, he'll say he says, to be upfront, the broker's price is 100 gold, but you will get basically multiple rumors for that. You'll get 3 rumors for that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it is obviously more expensive than going to a bar rumors, but it is more tailored for actually being useful. Is what he will say basically.
Yeah, I understand that. I think that's how. Yeah, I think we'd like to speak to him, but just ideally beforehand, we want to know what kind of jobs we're talking about in terms of just the scale of the pay for them. Obviously, it's got to be. We want quite a decent margin if it's information for that cost.
Yeah, I mean, he'll say, I don't know the jobs that he'll get. I don't know what he'd think is appropriate for you, but certainly, he would always assume he would always want to offer a return on investment. You've come here, you've heard the reputation of this place if you've been able to find it, so you know that the services provided here are discreet and efficient.
Of course, as are our services.
We'll see if you're back here in a year and you're still alive.
Yeah. Our services are meant to be discreet and efficient. They don't always end up being discreet and efficient.
I was going to say, even when your hit plans are successful, like Jamie wasn't here, but the other guys were here in our open table campaign, where they did a hit using a Mirror of Mental Prowess and a 9th level Necromancer and like shanked him, and I'm like, this is great, we could kill everyone, and immediately walked into a web and caused serious wounds that killed a PC from a Cleric. So yes, they're sometimes initially efficient and discreet, and then it goes wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a worthy sacrifice as the person who wasn't there.
Yeah.
I prefer to think of it as interesting.
Yeah. It makes the session great.
So.
Yeah. But yes, great. Who has the money?
What kind of scale of funds are we at?
I'm keeping track of things, although I think after this we'll probably need to talk about what we ended up selling before we left Shipwrecker.
Yeah, that's fine. I think we did talk about it a bit, but yes, we need to. I need to upload the list and stuff so that we know what money we got.
And whatever we ended up paying to those pirates. But we do have at least 100 gold coins. So
do we have much in excess of that? Because
we have in just coins we have about
in monetary treasure, I guess, stuff
we have a melted lump of worth 1,000 gold. We have some gems worth a couple of hundred. We have these crowns worth thousands. We have some magic items we might not be using.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, you would
Yeah, I think
basically
that's
you would have
enough,
sold
right?
all those on Shipwrecker. I think the assumption was you were selling all that stuff pretty much.
Okay, yeah,
So yeah, we can might up to you. As in, it depends whether
yeah,
you want
so we
it in
just
cash or whether you want
establish
it in jewels.
Yeah. Sorry, just what magic items we're selling, if any. We should probably establish that, and then we can assume that the gems and stuff are sold.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say, what had you to say? Because I haven't listened back to the previous episode.
So
Yeah.
I know we discussed it.
We'd been discussing whether to pay the pirates with gold or with Wilsp's dagger, and I think in the end we just decided gold. So
Yeah, you did. You did decide gold. Yeah.
Should we just keep the magic items now then, and then
Yeah.
later on we can always.
I thought we'd try to offer them some of the amulets of
we did
protection.
Offer them amulets. That is correct. We gave him like 2 of the amulets or something.
Oh yeah, no, that was it. Is that you didn't want to give him Wilsp's dagger, so you offered money. You were thinking about money, but then you gave because we worked out the price for the amulets, didn't we? Because you had 5 amulets, was it? And so you got rid of 2.
Yeah.
So yes, great. Cool. But yeah, so yeah, we can assume you've got gold, and we'll work out exactly how much gold is left later. Because you can at least sell the So as I say, obviously, Jamie may want to keep some of it in gems or whatever. But I think you had talked about selling the jewelry and the gold lump and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
At the very least, I will strike off 100 gold.
Yeah.
Information.
Oh, okay, that's a good point about the gems actually in terms of weight stuff. Maybe only sell them when we're much lower on monetary gold otherwise.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, we'll just ask if we can meet the information broker as soon as possible. Maybe just check with a couple of other people if the information broker is kind of generally known and expected. Just to make sure this isn't just like a con that this barman's made up.
I'd love it if that was the case.
My character actually makes a post on Reddit asking if this is legit. Just a space Reddit.
That's not one you can't just change the name of by putting an S at the start of. Or SP.
It's Reddit.
Just
you have to do the name backwards, which would be Tidder.
That sounds like another app.
Oh my god, it's Tinder for people who are in relationships. So that's why it's the opposite of Reddit. Actually,
I was thinking
people
Twitter.
Relationships. Twitter. Oh, that's much worse place.
So, what was I going to say? Yes, no, that I mean, I don't know if you can't quite go on Reddit, but as I say, the reputation, that you've heard of the Bar Sinister is that it is a discreet and efficient place. You can trust the owner. The owner is nicknamed. No one knows his actual name. He's nicknamed Raven. He puts children through trials.
Hey, I get that reference.
Children through trials.
I get that reference.
Yeah, he's a Scottish man.
Okay, right. How did that take so long? Even though I grew up on that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes. And that's the reputation they have. You can choose to pay or not pay. Up to you.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I do have an alternative idea, like whilst we're waiting, which is, I guess, Kawakami might have a look around, see if there are any show here, see if maybe racial ties will give me an in.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, looking to play the race card. Can't believe.
Listen, if it benefits us, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's when racism is okay.
Yeah.
Roll a d6.
Yeah, we actually we go to the bar and on the front there's like illustrated like on the wall or something to let people know when they're not welcome.
What?
Yeah. A 1. So there is a show.
Yeah.
Show crewman. Yep. So the information broker, for those going to the broker, is a tall, blue-skinned guy who I think you'll know as being a member of an ancestry called the Arcane. They are known as the Arcane. I believe there is one on some at least on Brawl. Intergalactic traders, yeah, and he will give you the following 3 rumours.
Right.
1 second.
Just to clarify, I'm playing Morthylla at the moment because technically, we implied that I was talking through like two conjoined twins or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they speak in unison like a Greek chorus for some reason.
Yeah. One's called Strophe. That's
Sorry,
possibly
I
too
think you cut
specialized for
out
this.
while making I was going to say, I think you cut out while making, I'm sure, like an excellent reference that I would have understood if I got the good enough A levels
Okay.
to get into classics at Durham.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. No, I said it was one's called Strophe, one's called Antistrophe.
Yeah,
that was it. It wasn't really worth repeating. I will repeat it though. One's called Strophe, one's called Antistrophe.
Is this a Zulu reference?
For anyone
Yes.
watching, if you've it's not a reference to like Greek plays that I haven't read or watched.
It's a reference to Greek choruses.
Yeah,
Parts of the Greek chorus.
for anyone watching this who
voices.
I'm sure you're laughing your ass out, and off.
Out
and off.
Sing right.
Yeah, I know would. Yeah, I'm looking very smug right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've played Age of Mythology, so I know all that needs knowing.
Cool.
Personally, my favourite Greek play is actually Antigone. It's very, very famous classic.
This feels too highbrow for me.
Antigone. I'm against people being gone.
It's just a bad joke of me mispronouncing it.
Yeah, indeed. So, why is that not? There we go. So your three rumours are that a few ships have recently gone missing in the grain fields, which is a kind of mostly peaceable farming asteroid belt, which the Major, who is not present, he's on Braal. The Major has actually visited the grain fields before because he visited an ice asteroid there.
Yes.
Yep. So including a swan ship, and the broker will say one, there might that's salvage. Getting this is hot, as in this is information he got yesterday. So it is at best, at most, when a week or two old, which is still pretty fresh. So this is freshly on salvage.
Is that salvage if the crew are dead or if the crew aren't dead?
Well, either way, if they're alive, they'll reward you probably.
If they're alive, it's called piracy.
Yeah.
I was saying, it's talking about like salvaging a ship that's currently occupied is a bit like talking about like a postnatal abortion.
Yep. We call that infanticide where I come from. So one is a swan ship, and the other is a Dread Never class, which your gnome Wilsp would know, and your gnome artisan will know, which is often known as the Death Glory. It is it's a dumb gnome ship. So one is a dumb gnome ship,
like with a TH.
Yes, yeah. Death Never, and the other is a swan ship. So they've gone missing, and salvage and recovery and possibly rewards. Almost certainly Iron Piece, the gnomes of Iron Piece would pay not just salvage cost, but like a reward as well for the recovery of one of their vessels. So that's the first of those. That's in the grain fields. Second, a swan shuttle has been raiding pishas in the God's Marbles, and House Morn are offering a 500 gold reward for that. So that is a small raiding crew. The arcane, speaking slowly and deliberately, as his people often seem to when speaking the trade language, kind of says this seems commensurate with your ability.
Sorry. So which what raiding group? Where again was that? So
the second one was in the God's Marbles. A swan shuttle has been identified raiding fishing vessels. Fishing, for those who don't know, is space fishing.
We've been fishing.
Yeah.
Aren't swan ships elven?
Well, yeah. So yes, it's a swan shuttle specifically. Don't worry, as in a small vessel. But yes, they're not swan ships and swan shuttles are used by us, but they're not living ships.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, what part of space was that you cut out?
That is the God's Marbles.
The same
God's
place
Marbles.
we went fishing before.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah, nice. And is that the God's Marbles with an apostrophe after the S or before the S? Which is a very theologically important question.
Yeah, after the S. I
Interesting.
was going to say if it's before the S, you shouldn't go there because you shouldn't,
Yeah.
It's after the S, so you can go there. And the final one is that a so-called live world has left the grain fields. So live worlds are some people they could be considered Earth entities because or they could be considered their own thing. There's a bit of a debate, but live worlds are basically what planets or planetary objects which are significantly consist of plant life. Sometimes they only do. There are indeed certain kind of worlds which are only plants. There's no rock involved. So yeah, that's the debate. But yeah,
world, but not when you're in Birmingham. Mm-hmm.
No, indeed, yeah. We live. Most people would say we live on an Earth world, because its base element is rock. But hey, we've got a bit of everything going on. But a live world has left the grain fields on a new orbit. On the same belt in general, the same thing. But yes, has taken its own direction. Which must be new because otherwise it would have already left there. Presumably, no one spotted it before. So it's a new one. Anything could be in the plant life there. You could find important medical drugs, which I think, that's obviously Jones knows about alchemy, knows about plants for alchemy purposes. Rex treasure. He says this one's more speculative. He understands, because but he's like, hey, this is again something which, for a small crew on a limited ship, could be realistic.
Yeah, I mean that seems quite fun actually in terms of pulp sci-fi kind of adventure stuff of going to Venus and there are plants that want to kill us and women that want to sleep with us for some reason and sometimes
Edgar Rice Burroughs
if it's the right story.
And someone's been
the plants that want to sleep with you are normally after you've taken the drugs.
Yeah.
That is actually Lee Brackett. Some of her planetary stories very much hit that kind of thing of both having the Starship Troopers element of everything's horrendous on this planet, and also there's beautiful alien women.
Yeah. One of my favorites of the few subreddits I do actually like is one called r/bad sci-fi book covers. Most of them are bad in a good way or corny in a good way. And half the time it's some kind of sci-fi novel that's you go an alien planet with alien women who all
a lost alien planet. Only
There's
women.
So many
they need a man.
planets.
Exactly. So yes, those are his 3 rumors.
Awesome. I vote for the third one personally, but
I mean, that's 2 rumors in grain fields, and then I'm pretty sure the God's Marbles is between the grain fields and. No, wait. Which orbit is Grainfields on? Is Grainfields pink?
We've got the map.
I'm looking at the map. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I think it looks pink to me. It looks like it's pink orbit. We're on red, aren't we, at the moment, or are we on grey?
I think we're on green.
I'm not.
You're not on grey. You're right in the middle. You're right in the middle.
But there's iron pieces on a grey one, so I guess we're not on the same orbit as that. We're on the green one, are we? Okay. So we're going to go one out to get to pink? Or two?
On this note,
this is a 3D map.
I know it's 3D, but it's 2D as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. If anyone does like playing something where this kind of stuff is simulated for you, the Outer Wilds is a great game.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
can you bring us an orrery for the next session, please?
Yeah, we need like
an astrolabe.
Can we borrow the computer?
I think an orrery is something
the asteroid coming towards the Earth.
Close enough.
What was it called? Astra something?
Astrolabe.
Oh, astrolabe.
Yeah. So to go through, and this will help anyone looking at the map. The map's okay, but it's more useful when you kind of have it delineated. So you got the primary, which is called the Sun, which is a fire body. The nearest to that is the Barre Sinister, and there is also in the same kind of inner orbit. There is a feeder asteroid for the Rock of Bra called Scavabone. The red belt next has Shipwrecker. That is the only major thing on it. The green belt has Barbuda, Minial's Arch. The blue belt has Numeliador. The violet belt has Diamond Hammer's Stake, which is in an asteroid field.
I want to go to Diamond Hammer's Stake just because of the name.
Well, that's where we
Sorry, were the green fields on the magenta one?
That's violet, yeah.
Cool.
You've been to Diamond Hammer's Stake. That's where you found the chatter.
Yeah.
You did a mission there. God's Marbles and Grainfields. So and the Rock of Braal and Spiral. So you basically have Flicker and Unipaxala. So that is the kind of most heavily inhabited one. It has 3 larger planets, 1 smaller planet, and 3 asteroid belts.
Yeah.
So we could do one or both these jobs in the grain fields. Have a look through the God's Marbles as we pass through on our way back to Rock of Brow.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Are we measuring distances like across the 2D area, or more like in terms of how many rings we're going between?
How many rings is
Okay, cool. Yeah. So just like 2 steps away is the grain fields then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so not too far.
Yep. Which is basically, I think we established it's about a week between rings, didn't we?
Yeah, and there's not really anything I can see on the red ring actually.
The red ring.
Apart from the Shipwrecker, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the red belt has Shipwrecker on it, which is a small world. There are like other asteroids and stuff in that ring, so it's not like there's nothing there, but it's just you're talking about again small groups of asteroids or whatever. And the same with like the green belt has 2 planets on it, but also has it's I guess remember the system here is crystal spheres are large and can fit a lot of stuff in them, and a belt doesn't just describe the linear orbit of one planet; it's the kind of whole set of orbits on that. So it's almost, in our solar system, I guess you've got the Neptune-Pluto thing, obviously, so they'd be on the same ring. That set of dwarf planets and Neptune sometimes swap, and I guess Earth and Mars might fall onto the same because of the relative closeness. The fact that but they never swap, but they get pretty close. Hence why, I maybe Venus the other way as well. Like it's a lot of the inner planets are quite close.
Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but it might be called like the Unnameable Horror or something like that. There's a great Clark Ashton Smith story about people visiting Venus, and it's like a plant horror kind of thing going on. I won't spoil it, but it's a good story.
Yeah.
Before they knew that Venus was covered in lava and all that.
Yeah. We've landed. We've put landers on Venus briefly before that. I didn't. They didn't melt. They just kind of stopped working because of the pressure.
It's like lava. It's just like the most awful corrosive farts in the atmosphere.
Yes, I was going to say it's just constant farts. I was going to say there probably. I mean, there's probably volcanism. I think there is a whole thing. There probably is significant volcanism, but yes, mostly it's just pressure and corrosion.
Oh, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. I need a snack.
So yeah, can we get going then?
So
The
yeah, that's the plan. Yep. Actually, no. Alex is going to talk to his show friend. That was it.
Oh yes.
We'll do that. I need to grab a snack in a second, but I will. Yeah, Alex, what are you going to ask him?
I guess I'd probably approach, kind of look him over to see like if I can like tell, should I be treating him as a equal or a lesser or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a ship man, but not like a captain, I assume. So probably like.
Yeah, he's probably pretty similar to you. Yeah.
Ever just like kind of make a bit of small talk, probably a little bit awkwardly since I am an awkward fellow. Monks are not known for. Well, not. I guess some monks can be. So
yeah.
I am not. And then see if he has any stories to show, anything he knows about, any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can get anything out of him, basically.
Yeah.
Not gonna ask him directly, but.
Yeah. By the way, in terms of as a show, where are you from? As in, are you originally from Faerun or?
Yeah. I don't mean. Well,
as in, sorry, Toril.
Yeah.
Or are you from? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Hmm. Yeah. So, because obviously, not all show are. Many show are now like, as in the show are the big human spacefaring subgroup. And you could say, well, they're not the biggest because obviously they're not the majority in places, but mostly in other places, it's that's the domestic population of that crystal sphere ended up leaving its planet, and spelljamming around and colonizing the system, whereas the show are an organized group who've come out originally from one planet and colonized everywhere, whatever. So.
It's because our knowledge of the celestial bureaucracy allows us to use divine magic in all spheres.
Indeed. Okay, cool. Let me get something to generate for you then. 1 sec.
Yeah, this is one question actually about Spelljammer, is that so if the gods can't influence outside of crystal spheres, is it expected that you might travel between spheres and then clerics lose their powers, or how does that work?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I am, I am a follower of the Path and the Way, which are basically like the show religion, or it's based off the show religion. Whereas the important thing about the Path and the Way is not that it's just you follow you worship the celestial bureaucracy, but specifically you worship the idea of the celestial bureaucracy, and you basically pick who you think is at the top, who is the top god in charge of everything, and then you are expected to go around arguing with other followers of the Path and the Way about how your god is the best. But it's all like philosophical and rigorous. It's not just like There was another group that also, I think it was Patar or something. There's another group that also gets access to their god in all spheres. But that's because they claim that their god just is the creator of everything, and all other gods are just pale imitations.
So there's also
God actually goes through all the spheres, or are you worshipping a god if you're just selling yourself out to the highest bidder each depending on where you are?
So it's because it's the celestial bureaucracy means I can use divine magic in all spheres. But my god, who has no power, if I was just a worshipper of Amaterasu, which is my god, I'd have no power in this sphere. But because of the Path and the Way, because of the celestial bureaucracy, I do.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's a bit like going to other countries and being like, everyone respects my passport because we all do that. Like that's the law. Everyone respects each other's passports. You have certain mutual rights and stuff like that. Or if you're, or being a member of a, like a member of the supporters club of a sports club, like a football club or whatever, that you'll get like reciprocal rights when you go elsewhere. So I think that's the idea. Celestian is the other one, who is like a wanderer's god, like god of exploring and stuff. So Celestian also works everywhere. Some pantheons are very widespread to the point. So pantheonism is also an option, but some pantheons are very widespread. So hence on Braal, the pantheonist kind of groups basically support, particularly Norse and Greek gods. Also there are some Egyptians. That's all pantheism, which is which can cover lots of things. On the other hand, if you're like a worshipper of a specific evil god, apart from Bane is very widespread, if you're worshipping a particular local good or evil god, that might not work so much if you're elsewhere, and you'll need to adapt to one of these other things if you want to have good clerical magic beyond second level or whatever it is, whilst elsewhere, and be able to get new spells. Great. So, he will report to you that he, given where you are, he'll say that he had heard a rumor, from he'd been drinking with some members of a bondholding association, and had his ship actually pays fees for protection whilst on Brawl, and so he's the representative because he can arrange that, for that protection. And he said that he'd heard a rumor that there was a portal to the plane of fire on the sun, which isn't itself necessarily surprising because it's the fire bodies.
Yes. I'm going to go through that portal. I'm going to meet Amaterasu.
Can we fire you at it from the bow?
Maybe in a few levels.
But that the idea was it was on a cool spot. So if you had some protection from fire, or like from heat, it wasn't like you need really high level magic. But then none of these people had actually been there or seen it, but they had heard it from an explorer. So it's at this point it's third hand, but he's happy to pass that on to you.
Yeah, I have. I don't know if it'd be relevant, but I have planetology. If that would be relevant, see if it seems like feasible.
Morthylla says that you could use her ex-boyfriend's heart to protect from the intense heat if need be.
Yeah. Servant to the god of love. Sometimes mopey, sometimes dopey.
Yeah.
Great. So yes, as I say, sorry, I need to grab a snack, and then we will start traveling, I guess. Yep. Cool.
I'll be back in a minute as well.
Yeah, 1 minute.
Night falls.
Oh, I'm back. Before Owen. Hello. How many times has night fallen?
I just said it once because no one was here.
All right.
I didn't just want to be talking.
So is it not funny if there's not more people?
Well, it's like when you make a pun. Like a pun's not funny on its own, but it's funny when it causes people mental distress.
That's true. Bit like me.
What? You're funny when you cause mental distress?
Yeah.
It's like self-deprecating jokes. Like if you're just making them to yourself, that's just self-hatred. But if you make them with other people around, it's funny.
It could still be self-hatred.
Really?
I mean, it almost always is
Both.
also self-hatred, but self-hatred can be funny.
Alex,
Yes, the
do you have something you need? Alex, we're always here, Alex. If there's something you need to talk about.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate myself. I'm a god in human flesh.
He's the only person who doesn't as well. Like, hate Alex.
He is Dagoth or Dagoth manifest.
Come thereof, look upon my heart.
Was it our other game that I referenced Dagoth Wave?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you remember that line that goes like,
Owen, how many of your viewers do you think
I'm a
know
god.
of
How can you kill a
Dagoth
god?
Wave?
So what was that, Alex?
How many of your viewers do you think know of Dagoth Wave?
I assume everyone does.
Yeah. How can you not?
No.
I kind of.
There's two things that everyone knows on the internet. One is Dagoth Wave, and the other is Hacker T Dog.
Yeah.
I
Do you
kind
not
of
know,
assumed,
Alex?
Owen, that like
Grounded.
more of your viewers had like read the whole of War and Peace than would know, of Dagoth Wave.
No, I think more people know of Dagoth Wave. I'm fairly confident that they will.
That's what I listen to while I'm reading Leo Tolstoy.
Yeah. It's what makes it, it makes the time fly by.
Yeah.
So I'm eating cake, homemade cake with honey drizzled onto it.
Let them eat cake with honey.
Yeah.
Homemade.
I've just got a pack of quavers.
Nice.
I mean, quavers are the best crisps. Like I couldn't tell
They're
you
pretty good.
what a quaver is, but there's just something about them. There's just good crunch, good cheese.
It's a maize snack, I think you'll find.
You might get the feeling from this that Owen's in a bit more of a family setting than Alex here.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say I only have bin juice or something like that.
Oh.
I've taken the liquid out of the bottom of the bin. I've distilled it, condensed it, made it into cheese, and then brewed that into alcohol.
You can't just make.
I'm also having a can of Stella.
I like distilling it, and
Maybe you can't. I am a god in human flesh.
It's just okay. Well, whatever god you are, I want no part in that religion. I'd rather be mortal. I'd rather be mortal of my bedroom than god of the dustbin.
No one ever wants to be involved with my worship.
Yeah. It was started by Oscar and the Grouch from Sesame Street. Yeah. So, do I have the encounter tables in useful form? I'm just checking so we can start rolling encounters. Maybe. Okay. Okay. So, yeah. And did you? How many spaces was it between the two? Between the worlds you want to go from and to?
I think it's just 2 rings we're traveling distance, right?
Yeah, we're going to the green
Yeah.
fields
So
first.
from green to red, and then to magenta.
But in terms of square spaces, because it should be squared as well.
Are we sponsored?
Yeah, bum.
25 feet, 5 squares.
No, we're going to
Five-
green fields, not the God's Marbles.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 15 feet then.
That is a mere 15 feet away.
3 squares. Exactly. This is Outer Wilds gameplay here, guys.
So, traveling on the first space, it'll be, I think, a 3 in 20 chance or so. So, Andrew, do you want to roll a d20?
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Owen's just looking through his table of like every table says like astral space squid something like that.
Yeah,
Astral
squid
lamprey.
lich.
That turns into a black hole once you kill it as well.
Yeah.
14.
Cool. So you'll travel into the next space. And then I guess, Simon, do you want to roll another one? This will be a higher chance, but we'll check what your number is. Don't worry about calculating. It'll be like 5. It'll be like a 5 in 20. So roll d20.
Do I need to tell you what I rolled?
Yes.
Ideally.
20. I thought you I forget you can't see.
Yeah. I should have technology options sorted like next week.
Mm-hmm.
So that will resolve that problem for anyone who's wondering, who's watching. So the grain fields are an asteroid belt, but where they're obviously relatively fertile asteroids. It's not a they're not all rocky and miserable. There's ones with decent size to maintain a small atmosphere, things like that. It's a large asteroid group, so the size of a small planet, basically.
A large asteroid the size of a small planet.
Well, as in the belt is kind of as a whole, maintains the atmosphere of a planet. So yes, it means there's lots of kind of stuff that you can, lots of places you can farm. There's about 50 asteroids. One thing is that from the outside, you're like, oh yes, so there's these asteroids, that's fine. Presumably that's all completely safe. But actually, some haven't been fully explored, especially as some have been captured over time, or in fact, as you've recently heard, one has left and is somewhere else on this ring. So that's kind of the environmental situation, is that stuff is constantly being added or lost, mostly added, and stuff is being explored more, and there's always places to hide. You do have Royal Bralian ships here to kind of try to protect the trade. So there's not very much piracy or anything here. That would be probably a fairly fatal error, but you do get sometimes people hiding out or theft rather than piracy, that sort of thing. Heists. So yes, I guess you will House Morn of Braal have or House Moon of Braal have many asteroids. So does House Kulloch and House Daxalt, because these are the grain fields of Braal. So this is part of it's Braalian territory. You do have, I think, an adventuring license from Braal, so that'll help. But yes, I suppose you heading in, and what's the approach? What's the plan? As in, are you looking for the live world? In which case, you'll need to pick a direction, either kind of spinward or backward, like trailing, to to search for it, or are you going to go and look for Rex?
I'd say we should head straight to go and find it first, and then maybe look for Rex after.
Well, the Rex,
so we don't get too distracted.
probably have a greater time pressure. Like if there are survivors, and we
that's fair point. Yeah, you're right. We should do that.
And if there aren't survivors, then other salvagers will try and come for it as well, presumably.
Jamie's like, but I want to go to my living planet.
There were dozens of Rex all over. Let's go and discover a planet.
Yeah, but how many times
Someone will probably rescue them.
Something called what was it? A Death Never class.
Yeah,
we might find a mind flayer.
Probably very often.
And we'd love to.
I want to go to the planet of novel plants.
But we could.
I just want to go somewhere that's like prettier than a wrecked ship.
Yeah, this place seems like a dump.
Fine, we should probably rescue the civilians.
Yeah, we'll do it to stuff. Not planets, Rex.
Is the so-called Death Glory, which the gnomes call the Dread Never class. Your gnomish friend will tell you this. Kind of big, top-heavy ships, which he can. I think I'll pull up these. Yeah. So I'm just getting. I would get a picture up for you, but I'll have to describe it in your mind's eye. But yes, that it's a big, top-heavy gnome ship, which works. Not all gnome ships famously work. It's got big outriggers. It's a kind of small-ish warship. It's not the biggest out there. I mean, it's 70 tons, so it's a lot bigger than you, and it's a lot bigger than plenty of traders. But it's a lot smaller than plenty of warships, basically. It's got 3 masts, so it looks like a tradesman. It kind of has 3 central masts, like as in along the center line of the boat, and it's got lots of weaponry on it. It's got, he'll say that they're designed to have medium ballista, medium catapults, medium jettison, tangle line guns, water cannons.
Is it the weaponry that makes it mostly
top-heavy? Water cannons? Is that for controlling rioters or something?
Yes.
Maybe?
So, I mean, all kinds of things. Spark. The point is, if you cover everything in water, then you can use spark darts to electrocute everyone. Yeah.
Efficient warfare.
It sucks away all the oxygen breathing.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, indeed. The catapults might be using glass globes with Greek fire, or with acid, or oozes. The gnomes sometimes capture oozes to fire at the enemy, and the ballista will often fire super sweepers, like deck sweeping weapons. So these are powerful devices.
How big is this ship compared with the one which mugged us?
I think are bigger than a wasp ship. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So we'll see if any of those weapons might be possible to put on our ship. Maybe.
I mean,
we're on a yacht.
Hearing all of that, the question should surely be, what the hell could kill a ship like that? Like, why is it?
Yeah, that's the obvious question.
Let's not think about that too much, guys. They, maybe they had a bug going around or something.
Well, they all caught space plague.
Yeah. These things exist. Space plague is real.
They all caught. What was the typhoid outbreak? What was it?
No, they all had that.
Wasn't that? Yeah, they all had to. Yeah, indeed. Wasn't it malingerers something?
Cholera, that was it.
Yeah, malingerers cholera.
That went around.
That's it.
Around Rocket Bro. Yeah, they all caught that and shit themselves to death.
Was malingerer like the patient zero who just they're never gonna let it go about that person now?
No, it's basically everyone was catching. I think you watched these, didn't you? Everyone was catching cholera, but it was really mild cholera that just made people not be able to go to work.
Right. I did watch them. I just have bad memory.
Yeah. So the Dread Never is about 3 times the size of the Wasp.
Okay. So yeah, it's we.
Yeah.
We did. Were we told other than it was a wreck? I wasn't paying attention at the time.
No, not that it was a wreck that had gone missing and therefore could be a wreck.
Okay.
It could be a lethal trap.
It sounds a lot like a trap to me, but
so I'd say the Swan ship was a halfling crew was the report, and the tonnage of a Swan ship is 32, so that's 1.5 times the size of the Wasp ship. And that's a lot smaller. They should normally both be. I think certainly the Swan ship is traditionally jammed, and the Dread Never is is a gnomish version of a helm. So yeah, both traditionally helmed ships, more or less. I mean, yeah, Jackson's certainly interested. He thinks you could. He's very much up for the idea of salvaging one, and then maybe you could fly it, and the Star Sail could be its landing craft.
Yeah, let's assume that everybody just got bored and left. And
should we take a close look?
That's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's not full of mind flayers.
Yeah. And also, can we actually see any mess, wreckage, discarded items, corpses on the deck? If not, it's very suspicious.
Yeah, but so. Yeah, you're going to need to search for it first, I suppose. You head into the grain fields and into the kind of on the outer stuff where the big agricultural moons are. You probably don't think you'll find it there. That's much more heavily patrolled. It's the kind of inner cluster, which is hard to get big ships into, and which isn't really farmed. It's where the ice asteroid was. Andrew and Alex, who played that adventure.
Yeah.
Like into the inner cluster. So yes, I guess you can head towards there.
Yep. I think whilst we're flying about, I think Kawakami has planetology, so we'll be trying to keep an eye out for perhaps this rogue world. I was going to say, make a
planetology check. Roll your d20 for the NWP.
Yeah. Where am I rolling? Roll 20, d20, success. By 8.
Yeah. So what you'd pick up from looking around and thinking about what was likely is that it is probably trailing. It could have gone kind of spinward due to some kind of impulse, but probably is trailing, and it changed because basically it changed mass. That's what you'd think. If it's a new live world, it's something that has changed mass and has therefore changed. Because it's not like a sudden massive gravity well that sucks everything into it. It'll just slow down, is your assumption.
Yeah.
So should we maybe start on like
a bomb
the opposite
landed on
side?
it. Bomb.
Maybe start on the opposite side from where I suspect this live world is, and then work our way through. And if we don't find any of these wrecked ships, just go to the live world.
Yep.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, sounds fine.
We've got a plan. It's not a well-developed plan, but it's simple, which means it's good.
Yep.
Yes, there is that.
Well, it just means we've got room to improvise.
Yes. Let's just hope there's nothing dangerous out here.
Yeah. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. So yeah, sorry. Are you going into the inner part of the asteroid field to search?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So
work our way through, like kind of basically straight through and come out the other side.
Yeah, and then go trailing wise.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So it will be Alex. Yeah, Alex, you want to make an encounter check as you go in?
I'd rather not, knowing my luck.
Yeah.
On a d20.
Not all encounter checks are bad. Yes, on a d20.
2.
Okay. We'll start with the D100. So, yeah.
47.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the necropsionic space whale is actually quite common around these parts, guys. So
the what? The
say goodbye.
necropsionic space whale.
Yeah, that's the one. One sec.
Yeah, in the green belt. Yeah. Owen's just noting down the name there and writing up the stats.
You just made those words up. Necropsionic space whale.
Sorry,
It's like Leamington's Bar. It's an invention.
I didn't make those words up. I made the creature up, but uses pre-existing words.
Just like Leamington's
Okay,
Bar.
so is it an undead creature that uses psionics, or is it a creature that uses undead psionics?
What would undead psionics?
Thing.
What would the difference be?
Well,
Undead psionics is when it doesn't work, like with Alex's.
Yeah. Okay, Alex is just explaining to us how brain-dead mental powers work.
Yeah. As an expert, he can speak to the matter.
Yeah.
Is it in here?
Yeah.
Just finding what I need for this. Is it in here? Just flicking through books to find the right thing. Okay. So, Alex, roll surprise.
Oh, D10.
Yeah, D10.
2.
2. Mutual surprise. So no surprise. Yeah, you coming into the midst of these asteroids. Mutual surprise still technically means surprise conditions, so it means minimum distance. But yes, you come into the kind of the shadow, the kind of very shadowy and dark realm between these inner asteroids, and before you know it, you come upon or find yourself in the midst of a dozen 10-foot long. They're below you. You initially missed them because they're brown and they seem to merge into the background, like the earthy asteroids around you. But yes, you come upon a dozen brown 10-foot long shark-like creatures, I guess. They don't by shark-like. I mean, they're finned. They've got tails and stuff. They don't look to any of you as you realise each other is there like hardcore predators. They don't have gigantic tearing teeth. They have lots of little teeth. Don't know if any of you know much about animals beyond that, but none of them look like they don't look like lions or great white sharks or something. They've got
going after
one big eye.
Yeah, they probably eat like lots of tiny space krill or something.
It's not Barley. They are teeth. They could cut your skin. But yeah, they are. They have one big eye, which looks weirdly human-like. Sympathetic, as if they each had a story to tell.
Let's murder them.
They say, "Come into my mouth, and I will tell you the story." I will. Inside my stomach is my tail.
Yeah, the only story we need them to tell is armor class, hit dice, and loot.
Yeah. Could you tell me your weakness, please, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I assume we're just probably not going to do anything unless they actually start attacking us. Although I guess we'll if anyone's got if there's a harpoon or something, we'll try and get someone on it just in case.
I was going to say, did you salvage some blister bolts, didn't you, Tom? Tom Thumb.
Yes, I think we don't have many though. We have 4 or 5 or something.
Yeah. So yes, because I think you'd salvaged. I think you rolled, so you should know the record.
I've got 5 ballista shots.
Yeah. So yeah, Thumb is on the baluster. Yeah. Let's reaction check them then. Unmodified, I think. 15. They are curious. So yeah, you. By the way, the soundtrack, by the way, cuts. There is no music here. You suddenly realise you're in the middle of these creatures, and you just hear the kind of the yawing of the sail of the star sail and stuff like that. A rope kind of snaps. Everything is unnaturally loud, and then there's a bump against the side of the star sail, and you realise that as they've noticed you and you've noticed them, they're coming up and are investigating.
They're like orcas.
Yes, they're just playing with you,
I have
like an orca.
I have animal lore. Can I see if I know anything about these? You know, are they tasty?
Roll.
Are they vicious?
Roll. Roll.
Fail.
Fail. They look like scavers. They look like a big group of fish-like space creatures. So you assume it's a scaver. You don't know much about them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I assume since they're called scavers, maybe they only eat dead people. Maybe they'll lead us to a wreck.
I mean,
If only we
most
had
predators
Wilson, we
eat
could
dead
throw
people,
Wilson
they
off.
just render them dead first.
You could get in and
Jones.
swim with them like dolphins. That might be a good idea.
Jones, watch out for your collection.
Yeah.
Throw the pickle jars over the side.
Yeah. Well,
You're
actually,
not supposed to know about those.
yeah. I mean, since they're pre-dead and the average human doesn't slaughter the animals they eat, does that mean that most of us are scavengers?
Yeah.
There's deep thought for today, guys.
No, most of us are like ant queens. That's the way I like to think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are fed by our slaves, and by that I mean people in the food chain industries.
Yeah.
People in the food chain.
Yeah, by people in the food chain, I mean people I eat.
That sounds
I
like
have
that sounds like a corporation you'd find in like Cyberpunk or something. Food chain industries.
Yeah. Like, you guys aren't also cannibals?
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's a sister company to my other company, the Greatest Game hunting company, in which you obviously hunt the greatest game.
Yeah. I mean, apparently, actually, eating
The most
people's gone out.
dangerous game.
They've replaced it with the much more humane and marketable Soylent Green.
Yeah, yeah. It's Soylent Green is people friendly. That's what I heard.
Exactly. Yeah.
It contains all the nutrients a human needs to survive.
Yeah.
All the nutrients human needs.
It's been developed from close study of the human form.
Yeah. Such a familiar food.
Yeah. So, yes. Yeah. So yeah, they are bumping your ship.
We bump them back.
Don't bump them back. Just let them. They're just curious.
Yeah, they're just curious. Just let them bump away. They'll bump on their own way.
They're curious about eating us.
No, they're not.
If we throw rations, they'll want more.
They'll only spend it on drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that was very right wing of me. I think we should give them rations.
I think we should give them Russians. What?
What?
I think they think we're rations.
Nah, they're just just playing along.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why they starved at Leningrad. They were full of rations.
Yeah. There was. It wasn't quite a renewable food resource, but it was a significant one.
Yeah, they had the people bringing along supplies coming in, but there's just like a bit of a typo. That's why they ended up with more people starving instead of food.
Yeah. Bring your own food. People turned up and they're like, "Man, so you're the food, are you? Okay."
Yeah.
But yes. So yeah. Well, Jones, what are you doing, if anything? And Alex, what was your view? What's Kamakura? Kawakura?
Kawakami?
Kawakami, great.
I mean, maybe give them some rations, or maybe just let them chill.
Well, maybe throw the rations like out into space to sort of draw them away.
I've got my sling stuff. Let's see how. Let's just like drop one.
Yeah.
Just wave on them and get their attention and just fucking fling it like one of those dog ball throwing things.
No. Can we load the ballista with a comedically oversized sausage to shoot out in space?
Got like a ballista-sized salami.
It's
like,
yeah.
That's like a whole week's ration.
Load the salami.
I feel like that's something that you might find on this Death Glory ship, like but a gnomish tech.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they died. Actually, is they were all crushed by a comedically oversized piece of cured meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, this will last us till the end of our lives, and then they all die. Are they all right?
It did, yeah. It was correct. So yes. Yeah. Are you slinging some rations then,
Yeah,
or not?
unless someone has a better idea.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a meat bag apparently. I don't know if that's still on. That was in the loot, possibly from the goblins.
Yeah. I think
That
it's a
sounds right. Yes.
Wasn't it a bag made of skin? I think technically not.
Oh, I thought it was a bag with meat in. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be a bit chilly. Just dry rations then if we have some. If anyone has some.
Yep. So yes. Yeah, I mean you can do that. Yep, you will throw one, throw a ration, or sling it. Yeah, they will peel off and go and investigate it and begin squabbling over it and eating it.
Then we quietly sail away, leaving nature as we found it, undisturbed, before we go and cut our way through this jungle planet in search of exotic.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, you continue inwards. Jamie, do you want to roll an encounter D20? Searching.
There's a 7.
7. No encounter. In that case, as you continue searching on that day, you will. Nope, wrong book. Where is it? Because yeah, you'll see ahead of you a largish vessel, somewhat circular, about 40 feet long by 20 feet wide. A vessel, so significantly larger than yours. It's multi-deck, 3 masts, which your gnome craftsman will identify as a Death Glory, as a Dread Never. Yes, it seems to be adrift, just and kind of caught on a larger asteroid, kind of next to a larger asteroid, and there's no lights on it. It doesn't seem to be under power.
Yeah. With the lack of lights, can we see it very well?
I mean, you can see the outline of it.
Yeah.
It's fairly dark. I mean, you'll have lights. You've obviously got lights on the ship and stuff. As in you have magic lights, if nothing else, as magic weapons.
Yeah.
I guess we better go and get on board it.
Would light from the sun be shining on it, or would it be blocked by something? Or
Mostly blocked. There's bits of light here, and because there's no rotation, so obviously light is permanent. But there's kind of subtle changes of light levels.
Did you say changes of hue?
Yeah, as other asteroids further out into, like in the more open part of the grain field, as they move slightly. But yeah, this one is fair. You're right on the inside here, so.
Okay. So we send out a probe. Who wants to be the probe?
Yeah, Kawakami is kicked over the side to drop down.
We tie him up to Kawakami.
Oh no! What a terrible shame! What did I do to deserve this?
Yeah. You volunteered.
You're the Carl Pilkington of this group.
Yeah, you're the lowest level, so you have to go.
The most disposable.
Can I hand him a red shirt on his way over?
Yeah.
It's because I have 6 charisma and none of you guys like me.
I like you. I just,
because you've got less charisma than me.
Yeah.
Yes. I think you seem very charming and charismatic.
Yep. So you're going onto the ship, are you? You're going onto the deck of this thing.
It appears I have not been given a choice. Yes.
Yeah, you've been voted in.
I shall. Do
yeah. Yeah, you can drop down. As you come closer, the one thing you will notice is that, as far as you can tell, There are no weapons up on deck on the kind of weapons decks and fly deck and stuff like that. Quite empty atop ships. There's a bit of junk and mess, but nothing obvious here as you come down onto it.
No weapons they've been taken off their mounts, or like they're not even there at all.
If you want to investigate some of the decks, you can walk around the deck and have a look if you want.
Yeah, I guess I will go look into that.
Yep. So looking at it, there's no mounts left, but it looks like they're fixtures. Like it looks like they've been stripped.
Someone's beat us to it.
Okay.
God damn it.
At least that might mean it's not a trap. Maybe.
Yeah. The ship itself is here.
I mean, yeah, even if we don't have the weapons, like, if we could get the ship moving. This really,
I suppose.
Yeah. You going inside at all?
I will look inside the doors and see if anything's coming to eat my face. I'm not going to go inside on my own.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess there's kind of 3 areas, inside areas. I guess you'd assume things like the helm and stuff would be towards the back, from what you understand. There's also, you'll see there is there are ladders going up onto the flying deck and things like that, and there's also there's hatches into the cargo hold.
Yeah, I guess I'll head towards the stern, look for the helm.
Yep. No, that's fine. Yes. You will push open the doors, I guess.
Yep.
Everything, I'd say it's a gnomish ship, so be warned, you're having to crouch down as you're doing some of this. It's you think if this was like to human scale and for human use, I think there's probably fewer humans are needed to crew this than gnomes, but equally everything is kind of built roughly for gnomes.
Really uncomfortable because Kawakami I rolled and is actually really tall. I'm 6'5".
Yep. No, the Japanese pro wrestling, wrestler and promoter Giant Barber was basically successful because he was the athletic and the 3rd tallest Japanese person who had ever been recorded. Which I think everyone was like, this guy's great, and he was athletic too. Like
was he a whole 5 feet?
No, bomb. I think he was like 6'11" or 7 foot or something. He was a semi-professional baseball player, and I think they're like, you're not amazing at baseball, but you know what you'd be great at? Carnival stuff, but you're really tall. Yep. So yes, you will look up into the aft deck towards where the where the helm is. Looking into it again, you got fixtures, but no mounts or anything in this area. If there was one here, it's not here now.
No signs of like blood or bodies or
No.
combat?
No.
I guess looking at the fixtures, it looks like clean, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just been like ripped off; it's been like properly removed, like uninstalled.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back to the rope that's lowered me down and go tell the others this because this is weird. I don't like this. Like, this is like professional scavengers, but then like where are the crew? Could we just take off and nuke it from orbit? No.
Can we fire it into the sun?
No, I mean we don't actually want to do that, but this is concerning. Like, are there any like peoples we know of who'd like, have the capabilities of, is this something Illithids might do? Do they have the technological means to like strip a ship like this?
Well, I mean, anyone with the equipment could unbolt a bunch of stuff, and certainly it seems like a pro job. That seems reasonable. But that could be anyone.
I mean, I'm thinking
could be could be.
Who could like disable the crew like without blood? Like, there's no damage to the ship that we've seen, right? Like at all.
Yeah.
Nope, no damage.
Like, does anybody know anything that could have done this? Could have caused this? Are there, like freak space events, like solar flares that could knock a crew out? Leave them vulnerable to scavengers, or is this like something that will have to be intentional?
Drunken parties. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. This looks pretty dangerous.
Yeah, this is weird.
Should we go through it all together, stick together, and be prepared to run?
I will join you on this suicide mission. Let's go.
I'm content to continue taking the lead and being like disposable.
Yeah, as long as you're happy to take the lead by about 10 to 20 paces.
Yeah.
Have fun doing that.
If there's a chance for me to not die, I'd like you to not leave me for dead.
Your preference is noted.
I can't guarantee that.
Yeah, we have noted your preference.
I am supportive of the general kind of emphasis behind it.
Jones, let me phrase it like this. You can do whatever you need to keep me alive, including if I get injured and it looks dicey.
Oh,
He gave consent. I say we keep him.
You might wish.
Yeah.
So I guess we should just go through it systematically. I guess go through everything above deck before we go below deck, because below deck is where the bad stuff's going to be. It always is.
And if there's like that kind of a grate you get in the middle that opens up to the hole below or something like that, we could look through below or between floorboards or anything like that. Worth it.
Yeah. So you can all land up. Probably maybe by next session. It may not be. I mean, I'm sure I can upload a diagram actually onto Roll20, even if I haven't sorted the kind of the ability to run Discord and Roll20 at the same time. But yeah, so I'm sure that'll be fine. Who's going? Who's the away party?
I'll go.
I think the question is who's not.
Yeah.
I thought we were all going now with the plan.
Who's staying on the ship? As in you've got like 11 crew or something. So
Jackson's definitely staying. I mean, the chatter being small could be helpful.
Yeah. I think bring a chatter.
I mean, like, to be honest, ideally, if anyone has like a seafood allergy, we could use them as like a mind flayer canary or something like that.
Yeah, just leave them. Hey, come and eat my brain. That is the plot of a Batman the Animated Series episode where what is I think it's when Mad Hatter no, not that, it's Justice League, where John D is like, I'm going to go into Batman's brain and like send him insane by causing him nightmares, and Batman's like, no, big mistake. Essentially, you need Batman. So I assume Fozzle the Tinkergnome is staying behind.
Yeah. Well, actually, we should ask his opinion. Like, how much work? How long would it take to strip all the actual equipment off this ship?
I mean, he'd say it'd presumably take a couple of work days at least with a decent crew. Taking stuff out would probably be quicker than putting it on, because though you still need to be careful, the way it looks, he'd probably say, you don't have to make sure anything works by the time you get it onto your ship or whatever. You just have to, do all the unbolting, and it doesn't matter if the ship is damaged by you stripping stuff off it, if you're abandoning the ship.
But the ship isn't damaged, like, at all, anything that I've seen.
Well, as in, his point is, presumably the point is that there will be slight damage and, or whatever, just to the woodwork, but it's not like it's been...
Like scuffs or whatever.
Yeah, and where the fixtures, you won't have looked too closely or understood it, but he'll be like, the fixtures might be damaged, but the whole point is,
or whatever.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah, but it doesn't matter because you're not taking the ship. So he says a couple of days. Yeah. He'd say certainly even the shell itself, even without a helm, would be of value because how well it's constructed by gnome standards. If you took it back to Iron Piece, but it is heavy. So,
what would our speed as a tugboat be?
low. We need to check proportionally. It'd be a 1 to 70 proportion. So, it's not. It's not. I would say
back and let them deal with the mind flayers.
yeah, but certainly it's yeah. Technically, I guess even so, there'd be some motive force because you have motive force and it doesn't. So it just depends what you need to overcome the inertia. I literally need to check that, but yeah, it's an option.
I mean, that does seem like the easiest way of getting paid, is we just don't bother exploring it. We just take it back to Iron Priest. We're like, we found this. We don't know what's wrong with it. Do you want it back?
Could we tow it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We need to, yeah, very slowly. Yeah, we need to work out the speed, but yes, possibly very slowly.
I think explore it because it'll be more interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll get way more XP for exploring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go in and explore it.
Yeah.
We'll also end up with trauma or something. But, you
know. Does anybody have a torch?
There could be valuables.
I have.
You got a magic broadsword?
I have 3 torches on me.
I can.
I have like 10 torches if we need them.
I can hold a torch since my body is a weapon.
Here, take a whole torch.
They do say you're a total weapon. Yeah, I've heard that.
What if you took 2 lid torches and tied them together, like nunchucks?
I'm familiar.
Fire chuck.
I'm familiar with these kinds of weapons. I do not approve. My body is a weapon.
It's both a temple and a weapon, so it's like a cathedral ship that you launch at the enemy.
If you strike a weapon against a wall, eventually the weapon will break. If you strike the wall with your fist, eventually your fist will break, and then your fist will fix, and then it will break and it will fix, and then the wall will break. The body can grow stronger forever.
What about those short T-bars where like the walls are made of basically just paper and balsa wood?
Yeah, he's saying where I come from, I can smash the walls down as quickly as I like.
Well, yeah.
Have you ever knocked a wall down and all these like Westerners like no? Yeah. As you prepare your away party, I mean, at this point, you spent like an hour, pushing an hour, like half hour on the ship at least. Yeah. Close by, within an orbital range of about an hour, you see another ship come round in orbit of a nearby another close asteroid in this dark area. This one has the at its head the prow head of a swan.
Were they the raiders?
Is it drifting or is it moving?
It seems to be unstable. It's in stable relationship, though it's orbiting on a very tight orbit. An asteroid. It's in stable relationship with it.
Cool. If we've got my other character along who has the proficiency for recognizing ship rank and insignia, can he tell the difference?
Yeah, so Xeethra can try. Yep, because Xeethra can roll if you want. Yep, that's fine.
Yeah, can he tell the difference between a swan ship and a swan shuttle? Basically, is my question.
Yes, that's something. Yeah. But probably any PC can within reason. But yeah.
Yeah. Will that require a roll or?
No, that won't. It is a swan ship, the swan shuttle. Sorry for the confusion to the audience. These are just two locations in the world. But the swan shuttle is in the God's Marbles.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
The swan ship was also missing.
Yeah, so that's the one that's missing here, isn't it? Yeah, so it could have been possibly taken by raiders and now banned by them. But who knows?
So yeah. I was going to say, you've still got a few minutes left in the session, or 10 minutes or something, so if you've got something you want to do, anything else, then...
I feel like we should talk to the Swan ship, and if they're raiders, we should negotiate with them and be like, okay, well, you can have the ship that we just captured, and then send them into the Dread Nether class to get destroyed by whatever's lurking down below.
Yeah, you're like, you keep this.
Yeah.
We don't want it.
Well, what if the Swan ship is also adrift? You know, nothing on it, set adrift. I suppose Hulk.
Do we have a signal lamp?
Well, if that one's moving, I think we should go to it before it's gone, shouldn't we?
Yes. Well, I mean, it'll come back around. It's orbiting an asteroid.
Yeah, it's moving because it's orbiting, not because there's necessarily people on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you do have a signal lamp. If someone has a lantern, I guess a hooded lantern, you can use that.
Should we make smoke signals?
What, by setting
Yeah.
our ship on fire?
Yes.
No,
Setting Kawakami on
that's
fire.
not required.
Thanks
Right.
for volunteering for being on fire, Kawakami.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we would call out to them when it's like space between us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd use my signal whistle. Should we just go over them?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do this ship in a minute. So
Yeah.
let's do that.
I can throw a half gallon of ale to them as
Yeah.
a gesture.
As some kind of gesture.
Just a general
Yeah,
gesture.
The Swan ship is it is actually, like, technically it is longer than the gnome ship, but it is but it is obviously lighter. Yeah, it's a much lighter weight kind of build. It is that it's built of fairly light wood. It's a typically the Swan ship, so far as you'd know, is a kind of merchantman. The elves buy it from originally. In this system, it's probably mostly built by elves, but originally it's built by halflings, and the elves have adopted it as a non-live ship trader. But yeah, whereas the gnomish ship is metal. So you're talking about like very different tonnage, very different capacity and stuff like that. So yeah, it's large, this other ship that comes around. As you kind of fly towards it, you'll see it certainly seems to be intact. It has it has a ballista right in the swan's head, because there's like a big swan head that comes up, and there's a ballista in the swan's body. You can see the weapons decks there. It has these big wings coming backwards, which are adjustable, it looks like, and are currently serving as armor for the upper deck. So yeah, I mean, looking at the weapons decks where you can see the ballista, you can't see any crew.
Awesome, we've got two
Another
free-hearted
ghost
ships.
ship. However, that one's got a baluster on it, so we want to rob that one, right?
We want to rob all of them.
Well, we want to rob that one first. What could go wrong? Nothing. It's been abandoned. It's just there for the taking.
Wait, why is there a ballista bin left?
I could give you a very fun list of
Don't
things I
ask
could go along
questions,
based on.
just loot. Loot first.
I like how
ask
this is
questions
freaking Alex out more, it turns out, than the ship with nothing on it. He's like, there's a ship with something on. This is the worst thing ever.
I mean, I don't know what's going on here, so I'm paranoid of everything.
There's only one way to find out, Alex, and that's for you to go below decks.
Alex is having flashbacks to the last gold ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alex is having flashbacks to the Fortunate Son now.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even the last ghost ship. Like,
Oh yeah, the
Hate's
Ellison
ghost
one was
ships.
more recent.
Yeah, it was.
why are they always
Like,
awful? Why can't we just have
The
like a
chances
normal
of there
ghost
being a
ship
mind
full of
player on
zombies?
board are extremely remote.
Well, that means it's probably going to be something worse.
Yeah, but it'll be okay, Alex. It'll be all right.
Like,
We'll be right
the only way
behind
it'll be
you.
fine is if it's literally just zombies. And if it was just zombies, we could probably tell.
It might be. There's no. Maybe they just all went home.
How?
Imagine if there was a war and nobody came. That's what, I like to say.
Do you?
It's easy if you try.
Yeah, it's the most common saying in my inventory.
Is that a quote from Zulu?
Zulu?
Yeah. Yeah, well, what then happens is the guy says it, and then 4,000 Zulus turn up.
I didn't know the song was inspired by Zulu.
Yeah. I feel like only Simon here has seen Zulu, by the way. Is that right?
I must. Oh man, bunch of losers.
I saw part of it when I was much younger, but it's probably supposed to be like the end of the film.
Yeah.
Maybe,
We'll have to correct this someday.
Maybe I'll download it on my phone and watch it on the train to Cambridge.
You can then suggest that our strategy is to stand behind a line of sandbags.
Yeah, the sandbags are made of Kawakami. He is the sandbag.
I'm a sandbag because I've been turned into sand by whatever fucked up thing is waiting for us on the ship.
All right, can we dock?
I mean, you can certainly come alongside. There's no docking facility at the moment, as in
Can we grapple it? And
Yeah.
We'll grapple.
You can come pretty close, remember, and it's not moving fast, so you can probably fairly Jackson, you are on a skiff. You are on something very manoeuvrable. The one thing you have in your favour compared to all these big ships is you are incredibly manoeuvrable.
Okay.
So yeah, you will come up close to it, I guess, and then you say you're firing a grapple across.
Yep.
Where to? As in, like in terms of open access, there is an open upper deck between the wings, and there are two open weapons decks at the front where the Blistae are.
Yep, that seems like a good idea next to the Blistae.
Yep. So yeah, coming up towards its front, you'll kind of throw one into which one, top or bottom, Ballista?
We'll go for the bottom.
Yep, sure. So I'm just checking what deck. So yeah, you will throw it in, and yeah, there's a blister there. It is a medium blister.
Yep.
It has 10 bolts next to it, and there are 3 doors around it, as in one to the left, one to the right, and one straight forward. The left and right ones are slightly at angles. It's like northeast, east, and southeast.
Okay, I will open the left door. I assume somebody else has come on board behind me. I assume
everyone apart from Jackson and Fozzle.
I will open the left door.
And I guess for simplicity, Xeethra, I guess we'll assume stays behind as well, because I think Morthylla was who was active.
Sure.
Cool. So yes, the northeast door, it is a ballista storeroom. There is ammo in there. There are bolts.
There are bolts. Is there any other entrances and exits from the room?
Not from this northeastern kind of cupboard, I guess.
Super. Let's get every single bolt onto our ship, because at the very least, it will mean we've got more than 5 ballista bolts.
Yep. I was going to say there's 4 boxes of 10 each. There's 3 in this room plus 1 next to the ballista, so you can have those ferried across if you like.
Yep, we will have them ferried across. I will summon the monkey people,
the chatters. I was going to say, I think they're technically part of the away team this time, aren't they? So they will be there.
Super.
Yep. I was going to say, but you should have checked, but the air here is good, by the way. So
that's fine. My level of caution is similar to that in the Aliens prequels.
Oh God.
I mean, you don't even need to say the Aliens prequels. You could just say that about Alien.
I mean, in Alien, they did try to have a quarantine.
Yeah, try.
I mean, they failed, but the effort was made.
Creature burst out of your chest while you were enjoying a succulent Chinese meal.
What is that your crime? Having a sweet succulent Chinese meal.
Exactly.
That guy died recently. Not John Hurt. He died a few years ago.
Yeah, I hope it wasn't from an alien bursting out of his chest.
No. It was from being arrested for merely eating.
Chinese meal.
Yeah.
I'll open the next door around clockwise.
Yeah, the goat is behind this one. The car was behind the third door, I'm afraid. So to your east, opens up. Kawakami, you are. This is your second turn. Into a torch for your records, Alex.
Sure.
You can see east. I guess you can see at that door. Just looking, is it 15 feet? So you can see somewhere into a large void, which it's got a floor as in a large room, like a. To the left and right, the walls go round. Ahead of you, it just opens up, and you can't see to the end of that. What you can see or begin to see is there are what look like empty cages, and maybe just the edge of a big strong chest that you can see in here.
Cages.
Comforting.
Do you want to head forward, Alex, and investigate those cages for us?
See you later, Alex. Kawakami.
Yeah, what you need to do is just put your face right to the edge of the cage.
I would
Just
take
explore
a
the inside of
sling
the cage
bullet
while
out
we
of my
stress it.
pocket and throw it at the cage.
Yeah. What are you doing, Alex? Sorry, you're throwing a sling at the cage.
A sling bullet.
Yeah. You throw a sling bullet at the cage. Well, one of the cages. Yeah. Are you stepping further in just to check? You're walking slightly further in just so you can see it and then throwing stuff at it.
Yeah,
Is
it's
the idea.
like a few steps
Yeah.
into the room.
So yeah, you can see there are a few of these cages. There are a few strong chests. You throw a bullet at one of the nearest cage. It pings off.
I think it's okay.
Cool.
Nothing seems to be happening.
Okay, he said that and nothing happened. I think it's safe.
I would step further into the room, walk up to the cage. Kind of stop like a step or two away from it, not like press my eyes up against it.
Yeah. So coming up as you walk, again a few squares equivalent into the room. One, you can see the ladder up to the deck above. That's the first thing. And two, you'll look around. You'll see there's a door to your left and to your right. I assume the rest of the away team has followed you at this point, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a door to your left and to your right. There's a ladder, and beyond the ladder, the whole room opens out. Very kind of large cargo hold type area. You'll see this has lots of these cages, all of them open. And in the center of the cargo hold are 6 strong chests. Like big, kind of, yeah.
6
Chest.
mimics. Amazing.
I will go and punch each chest in time to make sure none of them are mimics.
Is that what you're doing, Alex?
Yes.
Roll for initiative.
And you at least punch them with your swords.
So Alex,
I'm a monk.
the first one. So
Okay, I forgot about that. Yeah.
the first one Alex punches, vomits out 60 gold and attacks, which is where we'll leave the session. It had to happen eventually, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't. Think, to be honest, I didn't think Kawakami was going to last long.
Kawakami turns round and as he waves farewell to you, he says, "At least I finally found a mimic in this game." I think we've only ever played with mimics one other time. I think Alex and Andrew have played the most, and Simon has played most of the other stuff that we've played. So I think I've only ever used mimics once.
In the Barre and Daggerford game.
Yep, in the Barrow and the Silver Swamp. Yeah, mimics.
I can't think of any other time, so that might be.
No. Yeah. I like mimics, but they're not like a super top in terms of top tier usability. I think it's that they are a dungeon trick trap, like they're a trick trap.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredibly niche in terms of its design purpose and use, in my view.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
Just
like,
after
there is
Steve, I think is my favourite.
there's a sweet spot.
I mean,
Like,
it's
you want to use them enough that people know that they exist and are paranoid about them, but not so much that they take up combat positions every time they see a chest and
Yeah.
No, I think we need more mimics. We need every object in the game to be a mimic.
Yeah.
Even the clothes you're wearing.
The planet of mimics.
A planet that is a mimic planet.
a Titan-sized mimic that pretends to be a planet.
Yeah.
No, a planet that pretends to be a mimic.
I mean, that sounds kind of
What
awesome,
about a
actually.
mimic that mimics a mimic?
Or a mimic that like mimics a spelljammer. The whole ship is a mimic.
How do you know that's not what we're on?
Oh, because our feet aren't sticking to the floor.